Okay, thank you. Okay, what we're looking at now is the layout designer. And the way this works is as follows. We have, let's start a brand tools. Let's start a new layout. We'll call this demo, okay? So here's a blank layout. We see the rows, we see the columns, and we see what they call text columns here. But we're going to start filling this out here. So the company code is MLTD. Fiscal year, and we can choose it. We'll choose 2020. Okay? And this shows the years that we've exported. The currency, in this case, will be Canadian dollars. The currency type is F for functional currency. And then we're going to leave these blank for now. And we'll come back to them afterwards. Okay? Now, the next thing to do is go to row sets. No, I don't have my row set from before. It's just a shame. Okay, well, at any rate, let's take a look at the income statement. Oh, here we go. So here's something that you can do. There are some standard row sets that just take all of the groupings for revenue, cost of goods, etc., and put them together. But here is something that you can set up for your own company that's a very, very powerful tool. If I say I want revenue in this range, I can use English words like this to that and create a row set for revenue. Cost of sales, I can say this to that plus this to that. And in this case here, I can have these ranges, and I can even subtract something out. I could say 6160 minus a particular account or minus a range. And so once you've set these up for your company, you can reuse them on multiple reports. And that means you can report your groupings exactly as you like it. You know, not everybody has everything that they want in a coherent numerical range, if you know what I mean. On top of that, so every time I choose one of these ranges, below it I can see all of the accounts that will be included in that range, okay? And so, you know, you can check your work and make sure that you've got that right. So I'm going to insert this. Okay, whoops, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go back to, so I'm going to choose this income statement, and then I'm going to go back to the layout. Go to rows. And once I select rows, then I can select from any of these groupings here. I click it once and it shows up. And this little switch here, if I right-click on it, is a toggle switch. It turns credits to debits for Excel. So you see a positive instead of a negative number. If I go here to cost of sales, then I go to other expenses, for example. If I want to add a spacer, I add that in there, okay? Etc. And let's say I want to add a calculation. If I want to add one called gross profit, I can right-click and say Edit. So it says it's revenue minus cost of sales. Okay? If I click on this, you know, I can right-click on it, it'll disappear. I can left-click here, and it'll come right back in. I can move these things around just by clicking and dragging. So here's a calculation, and I'll save it, and I'll put it here and drop it over there. Okay? And let's get rid of that. Let's just keep it simple. Revenue, cost of goods, and gross profit. When I get into text column, I have two options. I can put the account, and I can put the row description. Okay? And these are going to fall along the left-hand side of the column. Okay? And on columns, let's say I put actual 1, actual 2, and actual 3. Okay? I also have, these are various formulas down below here, where I can, you know, I can select a wide range of formulas. And I could say, let's say I want quarter one. See it there, but there's calculations as well. So here's quarter one actual. Let's add it there, add a spacer, and move it in like that. Okay. Now, any questions on this? Is this all making sense so far?
Yep.
Okay. So here's what I've got. And I can save this layout. Okay, so I can recall it. And then I can go, let's generate it. So what I've got here is I've got this range for revenue, this range as was described for cost of goods, and I've got actual 1, 2, and 3. And if I click up here, I can see where are all my fields. These are the layout fields here, created at the very beginning of the process. And all of these formulas will relate back to those cells. Does that make sense to everyone? Please. Okay. Another thing I can do is I can right-click here and say drill down. Okay. And that's going to create another spreadsheet here, a worksheet, which will show me all of the amounts that have contributed to this total, and the all this additional information. Okay. Now, if I go back to my layouts, and let's manage one of these layouts. Let's go to demo. Okay. Let's say I say this time I'll select show account detail. Okay, and generate. Okay, the report that I get now, I have all these accounts that are grouped. So if I want to see where this subtotal is coming from, I can look here and I can see every account, period 1, 2, 3, and quarter one actual. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So, if you're familiar with Excel, it's pretty easy to just, create a cell here where you say, I want to create a subtotal of, I want to add up these three numbers. Oops, these three numbers. Okay. And, I'll get the numbers. But this is basically a way for the report to be generated very easily, very simply, using the interface, and it gives you a lot of flexibility, and you have this drill down capacity. Okay? As far as the other menu here, so this is here to create a new layout. If you want to select a layout, you can go ahead and just click one, and the lightning bolt tells you can just go for it. If you want to edit one and then generate or save, you can use this, and this gives you the full capacity here. Okay. Let's go back to our demo. Oh yeah, let's go back. Actually, let's go back to another way of generating reports. If I go to Manage Layouts, I can pick something like this, for example, actual versus prior, and let's take a look at it. This is a pretty full report we have in terms of columns. There's like 20 columns there. And let's just generate it for fun here. Now, you may look at this and say, this is a really great report, but there's certain things about it I just don't need. Okay? I may not be interested in the variance account. I may not be interested in, maybe some of the formatting just doesn't really appeal to me. Or maybe I want to add some percentages. Maybe I'd like to have a percentage variance. So I could use the Excel features to add a column, create my modifications. And when I'm done with that, I can save it, and it will always show up right here on my spreadsheet exactly as I've saved it once I've saved the template. So that's another really good way of getting something that's fairly complex, but just slightly modified so that you can, it'll suit your purposes. Okay? So, everybody understand what I'm saying here? That you can... Okay. Speak up if you got a problem. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at then is the task pane, and that's over here on the right. I'll start a new spreadsheet. This here is your alternate way to get things going. If I click on accounts and move it over here, basically, I'm going to see every account in my general ledger. Okay? If I were to hit currency, I'll see all the currencies that are available. Account structure. This is a full definition of everything that we need to create reports. Segment codes and account groups, which is a very helpful one. Okay, so if I wanted to create a financial report of any type, I could either use this list of accounts and create formulas to read the balances on those accounts, or I could use something like this to get a more of a summarized thing, and I could say, give me everything that's in account group 01, which is cash and cash equivalents. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's try something. Let's do a little income statement. I'm going to delete everything that's not income, and then there's certain things that I don't really need. These I don't need. Okay, I don't need the account type, group name, etc. So I'm just going to delete these cells. And since everything is SAM Ltd, I don't need that one either. But the things I'm going to need are the company, year, let's get that spelled right, year, period, currency type, and reporting tree. We'll get to that later if we have time. And so let's say I'll say the year is 2019. Excuse me, the company is SAM Ltd. 2019, period 1. Currency is CAD. The type is F, and we'll leave the reporting tree blank for now. Okay? And let's get that over there. Okay, so we've gone through all our lists and we know what we've got. Let's go to formulas. Let's say I want to take the formula for actual, and I want to put it right here. Okay. Now, if I hit this FX button here, we're taking a look at the roots of this formula and where it's getting its information. For the account, I'd like it to go here. Company, Sam Ltd. Year, 2019. Period, 1. I'm not using a group code because we're using specific GL accounts. The structure code is right here. The currency code is right here. Currency type is right here. And the reporting tree is going to be there. So if I say OK, and let's format all these cells. So this, I happen to know, is the actual value for period 1 for this account and this company in that year. Now, for those who are familiar with cell references, you'll understand if I try to pull this down and copy that formula, I'm going to get a lot of problems. And the reason is because although this is using cell references, currently they're all relative cell references. There's no absolute cell references. So in order for me able to use this formula and move it around, I'm going to go back to this formula here. And let's start with something simple, the company. I always want it to be this company. So if I hit my F4 button, I'll put dollar signs in front of the B1, the B and a 1, and wherever I move this formula, it's always going to point back to this spot. Okay? Okay. Now, account is slightly different, you know. Account, we want to be able to drag this formula down, and we want it to be able to change from row 13 to 14 to 15, so it'll read them, right? But we always want it to be column A. So I'm going to hit this F4 key multiple times, okay? And the second time I hit it, the third time, we have the A has got the dollar sign, so it's never going to move from column A. But the 13 is going to change if I move it up or down. Okay. The B is solid. The period, for now, let's just leave it over there, and we don't want to move it around. And let's see what else we got. Okay, account structure code. Well, it's going to be the same thing as the account. We want it to always be in column C, but we're going to want it to move from 13 to 14, etc. Okay? Currency code is never going to change. Type, same thing. And for this right now, let's just leave it where it is. So now, if I try to drag this formula down, I'm going to get real numbers. And I'll take it down as far as the revenue, let's say. Okay. You get the concept. Now, does anybody know why I can't get my my ribbons just to stay out there? It just collapse all the time. Okay. So there's some more stuff we can do. For example, if we wanted to have a period 1 and a period 2, let's say we could put period 1 over here and period 2 over here. Okay, well. Okay, home. Let's get these. Damn. Okay. If I wanted to have a second column, like a period 2, and look at that, I would need to set it up so I could, relate to different cells. Now, taking a look at my formulas, okay? Damn, formulas. If I want to trace precedence, okay, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with these formula tools, but I can go to any formula and hit trace precedence, and it shows me exactly where it's looking. Okay. If I go here to do the same, I'll see it really is looking where I want it to look. Okay. Now, if I wanted to make a change here and make this look at the one that's over here, and then change it, put the formula over here, and have it look at the period 2 that's over here, how do I do that? So why don't I drag the formula over? And I see that I got a problem because it's still looking at all the same data that it was when it was in this column. Okay? So if I hit the formula, and then I say for period here, okay, and I want it to stay in column F. No, I want it to stay on row 10. Okay. Well, I then should be able to move this down and get some real numbers. And if I want to audit that, I can look here and I can see that it is looking exactly where I want it to look. Okay? So let's drag this down the rest of the way. Stick with the revenue for right now. Okay, and so I can I don't know if you're familiar with grouping, but for example, I could go like this, and go to the data tool. I could group all these, okay, and then I could collapse it or expand it for my final report. So those are all ways that I can manipulate these reports and get them to interact the way I want. Okay. Now, any questions?
Bob, I have a suggestion. I read that you go File, Options, Quick Action Toolbar. You can make it stay by putting the toolbar below the ribbons.
Okay, so if I
click
go
on your File, Options, Quick Action Toolbar, Quick Access Toolbar. Sorry, Quick Access Toolbar in the middle there. Just
here it is.
That one right there, and there's a button at the bottom. Show Quick Access Toolbar below the ribbon. Then it should stop the ribbon from disappearing.
Okay.
Wait, did you do it on here?
I don't know if that really works or not, but that's what it's supposed to do.
It didn't work. I've never had it before, but I had a problem with my layout generator. I think I corrupted it when I closed it up yesterday, and so my Excel is behaving a little differently than it usually does. Well, thanks for that. It was a good try there. Okay, so
yeah, thanks.
Okay, so any questions about any of the material we've covered so far? Okay. Well, either you're all asleep or you're all geniuses. Nobody wants to weigh in on that? Okay, we've got a quiet bunch. Let's take a look at some of the other formulas. We got the opening balance. If you wanted, for example, to create a balance sheet type report, you could use the opening balance and the closing balance and show the actual for the month as the variance between the two. Those are really helpful for that. Actual year to date, I could put this in and have it point to a cell that shows the period, and ready to go. Budget is going to draw upon whatever various budgets we have set up for this company, and there are also formulas for the current year, current period, and company name and quantity. And Jody Chase, you still there? I know your company uses quantities in General Ledger, and you can use this formula here to read the quantities and use those as factors in your reports. And you could use them to multiply, divide, or whatever, or just accumulate and show them on your reports as well. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so trees. This here is a really powerful tool that allows you to report on your general ledger in various different ways. You know, most of you will have an account structure that has like a general account, like revenue, and then there's maybe a section 100. In this case, in this test company, it's commercial, and 200 segment is for retail. And then these other segments, 10, 20, 30, 40, have to do with northwest, eastern, south, territories. So taking a look at this, I think you'll see what I mean. Well, actually, let's go back. If I hit the Manage button, and let's take a look at the structure of it here. The way this is set up is we have, under this company, we have a commercial division and a retail division. And inside of each of those divisions, we have north, south, east, and west. Okay? And that's exactly the way the GL account is set up. Commercial is segment 2, north, east, south, and west is segment 3. Okay? But another thing we could do is we could set up a tree that shows, under SAM Ltd, let's say it shows northern. And under northern, we have commercial and retail. Then we have another, on this level, we have another one called southern. And under southern, we have commercial and retail. So we can kind of turn it around. And depending upon your general ledger structure, if it gets much more complex than that, you can set up multiple reporting trees so that you can report on all of the appropriate GL accounts in ways that reflect more of your business structure and your business logic, even if it's not exactly the way your general ledger structure and logic has been put together. Okay? Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So this interface here, we set up an upper level with just the company. That's this here. And then when you get to commercial, we say anything that's got a 100. Well, we know we're already pointing it at 4,000. The formula is going to be pointing at 4,000. So even though there's a retained earnings account that has a 100 department, we're mostly concerned with the 100 over here. When it gets to northern, it's northern commercial, and so it's 100-10. And once you put that in, you can see all the counts that are being accessed in that grouping. Okay? And the way these things work here, I mean, I can take these and I can kind of just click and drag. It's a really nice interface. Okay, so I'm going to close this out here and take a look. If I have, for example, SAM Ltd commercial, and I just drop it in here, everything instantly changes. If I say I want retail, just drop it in there and it changes. Okay, so let's do something else. Let's say I delete this. I got a full company again. And I go to commercial. Let's see, I put that over here. And retail, put that over here, a little overlap. But then I'm going to modify this formula. I'm going to say that the reporting tree is here. And I'll hit my F4 button. And I know it's always going to be on row 7 or row 8. But I may want to move it over to the next column, so I'll leave the E as being relative. Okay? And now if I drag this down, then I'm only getting data for accounts that end in 100, for which there is data. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to audit it. I see that it is pointing at the right spot. Okay, and I'll drag it down. Okay?
Mhm.
And so now I have a report that shows me, commercial versus retail. Another thing I could do, if I want to go a little bit deeper, I can say I want the northern, and here I want the southern. Okay? Now remember, this is test data. It's not really robust data, but we've got every account here, whether they're used or not, and we've got the amounts that are popping up are for the accounts that are populated that fit these criteria. So using the task pane, you can start out with the layout generator, get a very complex report, then just go ahead and set up your tree, and you could have everything laid out so you can see all of the various subdivisions, the reporting units, and summarize them and do that compared to last year, whatever. And you can use a lot of the formats that are already established if they work for you. So, any questions? Has anyone's head exploded? Nobody's head has exploded? Not even one?
And the question I have, Bob, there are standard templates that come with Sage Intelligence where you don't have to design your own right from scratch? You showed some of them, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
well, I'll just kind of minimize this for a second. We have here under Designer, and you need to make copies of them and put them in another folder like I have here, but there's financial balance sheet, financial forecasting, income statements, financial ratios. All these are templates for various types of financial reports. And in all of these that you see here, in the Designer folder, when you open them up, you have access to the BI tools, to the layout generator, and to the task pane. So you can use the layouts. You can if you go into any of those reports and hit Manage Layouts, you're going to immediately find all of these that have been created by Sage that are part of the system. For example, here's one right here. These are all stuff that come right off of the templates, actual versus prior, and with all of these, just as I showed you before, if I click on any of these, I can right-click and say Drill Down, and I get a new worksheet that shows me all of the detail that went into that one revenue year-to-date dollar. So all of these are templates that are already built into the program, and all you need to do is, and for example, if I'm in this one here and I say, well, I want to type in and change it from 2019 to 2020, all the numbers change. Period. If I want a period 5, I hope we got some data there. Yeah, all the data comes right up. So it's really fast. Another thing I wanted to show you, which to me is very interesting, is if I go to the Format section, Format Cells on my Home ribbon, and go to Hide and Unhide. If I hit Unhide Sheet, okay, these are all the hidden sheets. These relate back to when I showed you at the beginning, the union sub-reports. The template generates worksheets that are hidden for each of these. For example, if I take a look here, fiscal year detail. Okay, let's just unhide it. And so here it is. This is basically your fiscal calendar, and it's being used by the report. It's accessing this hidden page, and there are pages that show all the accounts, and the balances in various currencies. So all this information is part of your workbook, and okay, let's unhide accounts. Okay, so here's our accounts sheet, and that's why these templates, we can modify them, we can save them, and reuse them. But if we just want to save them to somewheres on your desktop or on your server or something, you can email them to people, you can send them to people, you can distribute them to people. They'll be able to work with them and do the same thing I just did: change the year to 2020 or whatever, or change the period to another period, because all of the detail, the mind-numbing detail on all these spreadsheets here is what's being accessed by these formulas to put them in a nice perspective. Okay? Okay. Well, one thing we want to be able to do at this point is we want to be able to save what we've got. Okay? So if I just close it, or even if I just save it to somewheres on the drive, the next time I open it up, it's going to be the same as the last time I opened it up, but not the same as when I closed it. So what we want to do here is we want to save the template. And remember, over here we have the template is being stored on the server, this name and this file path. So if I go here and right-click and say Save Excel Template, okay, what that's going to do is it's going to close down the report, and it's going to overwrite the existing template with all the work that we've done to modify our reports. So it looks here. It says we're going to use this template. Save it. This is the name. You could change it to the name of your company or anything that makes sense to you. And it says there's already a template. Would you like to replace it? And I'll say yes. Oops. I think I hit, okay. I was just trying to move that out of the way, but at any rate, that's it. Now, if I open this up again and run it, we're going to see that we have all of the same. Whoops. I think I didn't choose any years. A little too fast on the uptake there.
Or Johnny Kaiser. Listen to me, John Sherrill.
Okay, so here we are, and we've got everything that we did before. Okay, all the stuff that we worked on, all the little drill balances, all the changes we made. And so we can start up again right where we left off. Okay. Any questions? Any ideas? Does anybody here feel like that they would be able to go ahead and kick in and get started and try to write some reports?
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you whispering.
Oh, you, Bob. Bob, I do have a question. I know some of the answer. How do you know of all of the systems? Because it's got that connector to like Sage 300, Sage Pro as an external connector.
Right. There are multiple. There are multiple modules for this. I mean, what we reviewed today was very specific. How to write your GL reports. There are also reports for inventory and purchases and sales that have to do with your completely different sets of data. there's a module called the connector that allows you to connect to any other database, whether it's another accounting system or a CRM database, or you could connect to spreadsheets, Access databases, SQL databases, and you can pull information in from multiple sources and consolidate them into the same report. And it's a really nice intuitive interface. And it's a separate module. I mean, I know that there's some people will be purchasing these modules and putting them on their server. There's also a subscription basis. I think it's $99 a month, and you have access to all of the modules and all the features of the program. But it's a very deep program. I think we'll be doing some other webinars probably next to go into the stuff that has to do with sales and inventory, those types of reports. And it's built into the system, and it's designed so that you can really focus on creating reports that really give you the information that you're looking for, your intelligence, so to speak.
So, Bob, I understand it then. If I'm a designer for the company, I can make up these canned reports. Everything is saved in this local Excel, bottle of information, and I can ship it off to investors and other people who can look at the data, not see it changing, but they see the data and they can manipulate it with the set. And that's protected by security, the Center Security of Excel. I can password protect it.
Yeah, you can once you save it to your drive, it's basically nothing other than a Excel workbook with some special formulas in it. And so, it's got the raw data, it's got the formulas, and you can protect whatever parts of the worksheets that you don't want people to be able to control. That would be standard.
But at the same token, I can, if I keep it live in my system, I can go and get the fresh data each time.
That's right. Every time you run it, you are pulling in the most current data. Now, of course, if I'm running a report on like last month, and I run it again, then who cares? But yeah, every time you run it, whether especially when you're doing reports for sales and inventory and purchasing, you're getting information that's right up to the second, right out of your Sage 300 database. Okay, well, let's take a look here. What do we got on our old PowerPoint? I guess, this is me, and this is us, and we're here to help, and let us know if there's anything we can do. And as far as the offer we'd like to make, for those who are still in attendance, at the end of the session here, we'd like to offer you a free hour support if you want to get started in creating reports. I'll be glad to log in with you and help you get started, and and take you to the next level. Final ask. Any questions?
Bob, this is Linda Kiernan. Good afternoon, everybody. Most of you know I'm your sales and customer account manager for Tandem Technologies. I came in late due to another appointment. I just want to make sure that everyone that is still attending and qualifies for the offer, that I actually have your name, because some of you are showing up as a viewer. And then I have, like Marie, I've got Marie on here twice. So I would like to send me an email and let me know that you are on here. That way I will be able to get you qualified.
Okay. Okay, Linda?
Yes.
Not a very talkative bunch. But please let us know if you hear, you see this, and you'd like to take advantage of the offer. Please get a hold of us and let us know, and we're happy to help out.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Well, thank you all very, very much for attending. You're a very well-behaved group.
Thank you.
And we very much appreciate your spending your time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.